Hello, so it's Paul Brannan here. What I want to do today is I want to talk a little bit about some techniques that I've used in my life to help kind of solve and ease up, well, free of my free of things like depression, stress, and anxiety, um, which a lot of people do struggle with, and it's something I've been through myself in the past, and I would like to share my what I try to do and what I've learned to help other people. So basically, what I'm going to do is talk about a few things that I've learned, and then recommend a few books that I've read, and hopefully you will um, be able to take a lot away from that and apply it to your own life and help, and also help other people as well, from what you've learned. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is um, basically a bit of background on what happened to me a year or so ago. Basically, I used to have depression and stress and anxiety, um, and it wasn't very nice. Ended up in hospital with it and all the rest of it. So what happened was basically my depression happened. A few things happened in my life, life events, personal things, and I had a bit of a mental breakdown. Ended up with severe depression and ended up actually suicidal and ended up in hospital up here in Aberdeen in Scotland. Now, after that happened, I basically left hospital and went to the library and started reading books and reading lots of different things, online tutorials and videos and all the rest of it, and learned a lot about mental health and about how to help yourself and live life more happily, more peacefully. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is mindfulness and meditation. Because that's where it all started for me. I started, and what I wanted to do was, basically stop the constant stream of chitter chatter and mumble jumble thoughts and goings on in my head, which led to my depression and all the rest of it, and bit of a storm in my head really. Now, meditation is really helpful. There's a thing called Headspace. That's really good. That's why I started learning. You basically sit and just meditate. For as long as you want. Basically, just sit in silence and let your mind do whatever it wants. That's really good to do. That instantly calms you down and lives you a lot more peacefully. That's where I started my journey. Started with that, and then I read a lot of books, and the best books I read were about Zen, Buddhism, and mindfulness and living in the present moment. Now, depression happens when when you're stuck in the past and you're holding on to past events and things that have happened to you, and you've taken them on a bad, bad, bad path. Now, the Zen book I read, a very good book called Zen and the Art of Happiness, talks about putting events, and you've got to see events that happen to you as the best thing that could have possibly happened to you. So, if you lose your job, for example, you must see it as a positive rather than a negative. Put it on a positive path and see it as the best thing that could have happened to you, because, for example, if you lose your job, you are pretty much guaranteed to get a new job, and hopefully, I'm sure it's going to be a better job than your last job. So it will turn out to happen to my dad. He lost his job a few weeks ago, but he's now got a new job, and he's much happier with his job because he's selling cars, and he loves cars. He wasn't happy in his old job anyway, so he actually says, it was the best thing that could have happened to me, because losing my last job, because I wasn't enjoying it anyway. So that's a good thing to do. That's a good book to read. Zen and the Art of Happiness. That's a good book to read. The best book I actually read also was called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, who is a very powerful spiritual author, and it talks about living in the now. the here and now, which is all you ever have anyway in your life. When you're sitting with my mum yesterday, and she was getting all stressed out and upset about things that happened 2 or 3 years ago. My grandfather passed away from Alzheimer's and everything. So, she's still upset about it. And I said, well, yes, Mum, but that was a long time ago now. That was 3 years ago. I said, you need to live more in the present moment. You're stuck in the past. You're stuck. You've attached your mind is attached to something that happened 3 years ago, which is fine. But if you lived in the present a bit more, sorry, my cat, Millie. If you lived in the present a bit more, you'd be a lot happier, and that's what all the famous people say. People like Alan Watts and Eckhart Tolle and people like us, they all say, living in the present, the here and now, you're going to be a lot happier with your life. And that depression happens when you're attached to things that happened in the past, and you take things negatively. Anxiety happens when you are worrying far too much about the future. That's what happened to me last year. Something happened, and a relationship breakup, and I got very agitated and stressed out about what was going to happen in the future, because I had no idea what was going to happen in the future after my relationship broke down. So that led me to have a severe phase of anxiety, which wasn't very nice, and anxiety, if you suffer from it, is a lot of people suffer from it, and it's not very nice. And you can go to the doctor, you can medication and all the rest of it if you wish. That's up to you. But the best thing to do to cure anxiety and depression is to simply live in the present moment. Sitting still, just relaxing, try and do one thing at a time. Not too many things. I try not to do too many things at once. The Zen books and that all say, if you're eating, eat. When talking, talk. When reading, read. When writing, write. So it is going to lead you to have a lot more peaceful and happier life. I find certainly it helps me out a lot. So that's what I would recommend. So reading books such as The Power of Now, A New Earth, Zen and the Art of Happiness, Buddhism, anything to do with Buddhism or Zen, if you're interested in that. The Art of Happiness by the Dalai Lama, that's a really good book as well. So things like that. There's a very, very good book called Fuck It Therapy, that's a really good book as well. I'm going to talk about my own books in a minute, but that's a really good book too. Fuck It Therapy. You can find all these books on my website. It's www.paulbrannan.com. I'm going to put links to my website and everything below this video, so you can go to my website and have a look at my recommended reading list, and hopefully you'll take something away from that. So that's that. Now what I've done myself after my journey is I've actually written my own books. One book, and it's called Feet Up Therapy. My last job, I saw some guy sitting with his feet up on his desk, and I thought it was absolutely hilarious. It was very funny, and I couldn't stop laughing. And doctor, the classic saying of, laughter is the best form of medicine. And it is. When you laugh, you're just happy. You can't be depressed or stressed or anxious. So I try and laugh a lot. I do laugh a lot, and people said to me, "You're always laughing." I said, "Yeah, because it's nice to laugh. It's good to be happy." So my book's called Feet Up Therapy. It's not published in hardback yet, but it is on the Kindle store, Amazon Kindle, and I'll put a link to that below the video as well. You can download that book as an ebook on your Kindle or iPhone, iPad app, and have a look at that and have a read of that. Hopefully it'll make you laugh, because we do all have a pair of feet, so put your feet up and just laugh, and life's not so bad, is it? That's what I'm trying to do with that. So hopefully that'll make you laugh. And I'm hoping to get the book published in June or July, hopefully, and then getting it published around the UK and in bookshops and hopefully America as well. So that'll be good. But in the meantime, you can download it on your Kindle and have a read, and hopefully it'll make you laugh. So that's that. Something else I want to talk about is some online products that I've found that help with depression as well. That I've been selling and talking about on Facebook and that. I'll put a link below that as well. You can have a look at that as well. And this is actually a product from another chap online that I found that I've been promoting through Facebook advertising and things to try and help people out with depression. But you can download those products, but to be honest, I think the best thing, I mean, medication and that is great, but I think the best thing to do is just like well, certainly I find more natural things such as meditation is good, and meditation and mindfulness and living in the present moment, focusing on your breathing. As to mum yesterday, breathe. Focus on your breathing, and that'll help ease the burden in your head. Because my mum said that's what happens to me. She said, I get a lot too much going on in my head, and then I get stressed out and I get upset. And I said, yeah, well, you need to focus a bit more on taking things out of your head and breathing and just being yourself. Just being is a good one to do, and that'll lead you to be a lot more peaceful, a lot more happy, and all the rest of it. So that's my video today, and I hope you find it interesting. You can certainly, if you have any questions, please go to my website and Twitter and Facebook pages, and send me any messages or any questions you have. I'm always willing to answer questions from people if you've got any questions. But please do read the books I recommended on my website. They're on my website as well. They help you out too. And please download my own book, my ebook, Feet Up Therapy, and please feel free to share it with your own friends. Hopefully what I'm doing will help people, but you can also share what I'm talking about with your own friends too. That'll be good of you, and that'll help spread the message and help other people around the world, and your friends and family too. That'd be great. Okay, so that's me all for now. I hope you enjoyed my video, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye bye.